Hello. Yeah, I need to shave. Definitely scruffy. Been working a lot of hours. Um, it always amazes me. I guess more so now than it used to. 'Cause, I mean, of course, I'm guilty of this as well, but how people will react to certain things. Um, One of my coworkers kind of blew up at some younger, immature coworkers today. Um, and I mean, is it justified? Yeah, to a degree. They're young, obnoxious kids, you know, and he's been having issues with them for weeks, and today was the straw that broke the camel's back. Um, this is not the first time this has happened, and it just, you know, it brings up thoughts about how a lot of times anger and lashing out is a masking emotion, and how it typically is hiding something underneath: embarrassment, guilt, shame, some feeling of inadequacies, something like that. So, me and a few people were discussing this, not just at work, but here at the house. And I remember this one rehab I was at. We had a guy in there who was extremely homophobic. I mean, horrendously so. And just kind of leads into that. But basically, the long and short of it was that I kind of screwed his head up, as I do. You know, being in several different rehabs as I have over the last 20 years, I've seen a lot of prostrating and peacocking from these guys who all, you get in this environment, and even at work, a lot of times, different jobs, you get people who they always think they're the alphas, they always think they're in charge, and they try to demand respect and all this other stuff. And anybody who says or threatens that in any way, shape, or form is bad. Deep down, this actually revolves back to a self worth issue. Um, but there's several layers to it, and this is something I was trying to talk to this individual at work and some of the guys here at the house about. So back to I'll tie it all together here in a second. So one of the things that got on this person's nerve with these young obnoxious kids is they're always razzing each other, um, calling each other different, homosexual slander and all this other stuff. Just dumb, obnoxious kid shit. And this older gentleman, for whatever reason, let this get under his skin badly, to the point where he blew up at them and was walked walked off work today, left early. Um, might even possibly lose his job over it. And it's just like, you walk around and you act like you're some big strong male, and really you're just hiding behind a fragile ego. Now, in this person's defense, he has had certain environmental situations that have, in not so many ways, traumatized him. He's slightly institutionalized. Um, so he's very he's used to being in constant survivor mode, and everything is a threat. So that's definitely a big contributing factor. but the rest of it are underlying issues of an addict. Um, everyone likes to feel liked. We're taught that, if people like you, then you're good and therefore you're worthy, so forth and so on. Just, you can dig it deeper and deeper and deeper. So, how this ties into my other story about the homophobe. Um, like the guy was such a homophobe that we actually had a homosexual at the rehab, and anytime this person would come in the room or anything, like this dude would like go to the other side of the room and just like sit there giving him dirty looks and stuff and just trying everything he could to make him feel uncomfortable, to the point of being like storming out of the groups and stuff. And it was like, so one day I'm talking to him, I was actually running groups back then, and I'm like, what is it? I'm like, do you think it's going to wear off on you or something? And I can't remember, he made some really ignorant comment about how it threatens his masculinity, and I just started laughing. I said, how? And of course he wasn't making much sense. And so I said to him, I said, I have a theory. He's like, oh yeah, what? I said, well, I think you're such a homophobe because really deep down subconsciously, what you're pissed about is the fact that the homosexual isn't attracted to you in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, he completely ignores you most of the time. I said, you walk around here and you peacock and strut like you're some big alpha male. He comes in, he's somewhat feminine, has a very feminine energy about him. So a part of your brain automatically thinks, well, they should be attracted to me. But he's not. He doesn't want anything to do with you. So that's how it affects your masculinity or your perceived persona of your masculinity. Really, what it affects is your ego, and you just don't want to admit it. So basically, what I did was I proved to him that what he was really upset about wasn't the fact that the guy was gay, it was the fact that the gay guy wasn't hitting on him. Fucked him all up. Now, the funny part about that is later, about a month or so after that, um, he realized there was actually some truth to that statement. So in a similar aspect, I've talked many times about how people are mirrors and how people, the things you like and dislike in someone are the things you like and dislike in yourself. Okay. And when I say people are mirrors, a lot of times people don't even realize they do it. But, you know, um, people will reflect back the same energy you put out. The trick about mirrors is they don't just reflect, but they oftentimes reverse. Okay. So while someone may be giving a certain energy off and it may reflect back to you, or you're giving off a certain energy and it reflects back off of a particular person, not only is it going to come back, but it's going to be flipped and somewhat filtered based on their own experiences and personifications and all this other stuff. So it takes a lot of discernment to kind of whittle through all of that. But if you do whittle through all of it and you actually are consciously aware of this to the point where you can use it to do a lot of introspective work and figure out a lot about yourself and things you like and dislike about yourself, character defects or flaws or whatever. And it can really help you get down to the core problems or the core causes and conditions of some of the issues you have and why you act and behave a certain way, why you attract certain types of people, why you keep having the same kind of relationship over and over and over again, why you keep having the same kind of experience over and over and over again. In modern terms, it's what a lot of people would call karmic relationships or karmic cycles or karma in general. You know, there are spiritual reasons for all of that, but there are also psychological reasons. You know, and a lot of it is the patterns and the things you recognize are essentially part of the beliefs that you have in your subconscious mind, and it's always going to seek to validate itself. So back to this person at work, getting upset at these obnoxious kids, basically part of his problem is he's the butt of the joke because one, you're the new guy. It's just you're the FNG. It just happens. Two, whether these kids are doing it intentionally or not, they recognize that it gets a reaction out of them. So of course they're going to continue to do it. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's attention. And that's all they really want. Him, unfortunately, here's that mirror effect. Yes, he wants attention from his coworkers as well. Of course he wants to be liked. But he's in a particular mindset where to him being liked is a certain level of respect. And I get it. There's definitely a huge generation gap, and there's definitely different ideas of what boundaries are and what respect is and isn't. But like most people, unfortunately, he's under the impression that just based on his age and or experience, he should automatically get respect. And to a point, he's right. And to another point, he's not. In my experience, respect is earned, not demanded. And that's part of the problem. He has the energy and the stance of, you know, I'm 3 times your age and I've been through it 10 times more than you have, and therefore you should, whatever. Is all of that conscious? No, not really. But so I guess the point to all of that is sure, people are going to have reactions, you know, but one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn in this life and on this journey is that the only person who's ultimately responsible for my happiness is me. Short of somebody coming up and punching me in the face, I'm the one who's in control of my emotions and therefore my reality. Am I perfect? Hell no. Definitely a work in progress. But I'm at least comfortable enough with myself and in my sobriety and with my peace and my serenity that I don't allow things like that to throw me off anymore. I'm not going to give that kind of power away. Now, some people have difficulty with that phrase, giving your power away. Because most people, when they think of power, they think of malicious intent or dominion or control. And they don't like it. Well, of course you don't like it. Very few people want to be controlled except in a few situations. And I'll talk about those some other time. Um, yeah, there's a whole other side to me people don't know, trust me. Anyway, it's not the point. The point is, um, most of us are taught that power and control equals bad. No. How it's used, the intention behind it, is what makes it good or bad. So, no bad days, only bad moments. That's it.